Hello everyone, I am Margaret, ML GDE from Seattle. Today I'm chatting with Mika from Brazil. I met her recently at Google I/O Connect in Miami. Hello Mika, how are you today?
Hello, I'm great. How about you, Margaret?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. It's great to have you here. To get started, could you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is Mikaeri. Everyone calls me Mika. I'm from Brazil, state of São Paulo. I currently a content creator at Explicame, where I try to create a bridge between the research and also the market needs in terms of data science, machine learning, and so on. I'm also a data product manager at CNT.
Great, great, thank you. So tell us how you became a MLGDE.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing because I started contributing to the community even before being part of the data science career. So when I was a backend developer, I was already working with SQL in this queries to get data to create my applications. And I was working with C Sharp, so I started contributing, and then I found that a lot of people from other states in Brazil, they were not able to go to these meetups where I was speaking. So that's why I started both speaking in person events, but also getting this content that I just spoke about and creating some lectures and articles about it. And then I was able to have a broader audience, not just in the state that I was doing this lecture, but also from the whole country, which would enable people from other states that would they would not be able to see that content in person to have this visibility about what was being said and be able to not have this there's a space between us. And this was very helpful for me. I saw the power of the community, and the community helped me a lot in my career. So it was my way to say thanks for the whole contribution part that was part of my career, right? So I started with that, and then I when I joined the data part, I started to see how difficult it was for me to have this transition because I did not have contact to a lot of um, data content in terms of where do I start? How can I start? And what are the topics that are more meaningful for a person that is joining the data career? Should I start with deep learning or I can go easier with some um, topics related to programming, but approaching a little bit more the data analysis stuff. So I was finding difficult this kind of part. So that's why I created some articles after that learning issue that could help people to not face the same difficult as I faced when I was learning. So this guided me to create more content about data, to speak more about data. So I was changing the subject of my lectures, not just about C sharp anymore, but more related to chatbots, more related to natural language processing. I started seeing that we have a lot of linear algebra, not just APIs that gave me the intention of a person speaking to a chatbot. To get this level of knowledge, you had to go deeper and see some formulas that I thought that I would leave in the high school, but now they are part of my daily routine. So this whole perspective gave me the contributions that I did, and then I became MLGD.
So did you I know you mentioned that you create this ML content and you
Yes.
started from a more of a backend developer and moved into ML. Uh,
Mhm.
but did you apply to become a ML GDE or did somebody come to you and they say, "Hey, look, you've done all this great work. Would you like to become a ML GDE?"
Okay, yeah, I applied for the MLGD program.
Mhm.
I I had some friends and they were already Google developer experts, and they
Right.
told me that with seeing my contributions, I had the profile of a GDE because I was contributing for a topic
Mm-hmm.
related to machine learning that was a very specific area in terms of the whole Google Developers Program, because you have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
areas, right? So you have like
Mm-hmm.
more focus on mobile, you have more focus on Angular, and then
Mm-hmm.
about the machine learning, they saw my contributions and they told me, "Oh, okay, I think that you can apply and see."
Mm-hmm.
What they are gonna think about your profile, because you don't have just the contributions level of um, analysis, right, Margaret? You have to talk with people from Google to for them to see the level that you have, the maturity you have on their products related to
Mm-hmm.
machine learning. So the second part of the interview, I also passed, and then I became a MLGD with.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, to become a MLGD, basically, I think when we apply to become a MLGD, we're already uh, done a lot of contribution, right?
Yeah.
Done a lot of work. So we just basically continue to do our work once we pass the two interviews, the technical part and the community part, right? So, how long have you been a MLGDE?
I think that is since 2020, so three
Oh, okay.
years. Yeah, I guess that one of the best parts of being a GDE is to be able to see some of these individuals, like learn from some of the brightest minds that we have in the world, right? Because it's really inspiring to be
Mm,
surrounded by them, to be able to network with them. This opportunity is such an amazing thing. They do for the community is such a great thing. So they just don't focus on themselves, but they also focus on people that are teaching. Am I teaching this subject in the best way that I can?
mm,
Are they learning from what I'm doing? Is it being meaningful for them? What's the value that I'm generating? So this all these things, they're very important for me, and the sense of community and teamwork, I see that's very strong. So this motivates me a lot to continue contributing, because I see other contributions and I say like, oh my, this they are my colleagues, they are doing such amazing stuff, I want to be part of that, I want to contribute more, because this
mm.
motivates me a lot. So this is kind of the things that motivates me, and I see that's the best part of being NGD for sure.
So tell me about some of the projects that you've been working on.
So one of these contributions in terms of open source that I was doing is the Keras IO. You have this documentation about Keras, and there was the Keras community. Yeah, the Keras Sprint for the community. What I'm doing there is to create more examples on the feature space, the feature from Keras, and then you can create a collab and add more documentation, more examples on top of the documentation that already exists. And that's what I'm doing. So we already have this documentation that has been created by Francois, one of the main contributors from Keras, and one
Oh, he is the
inspiration for me.
creator of Keras.
That's
Yeah,
why,
Francois.
yeah, just it's something worth to be mentioned, right? So
Yeah.
since he is one of the contributors, and this is something that's also a very important thing on main GD, because I'm in contact with people that inspired me a lot. Like they're creators of things that I use in my
And
not
you
just
get to work
personal
with him.
projects. Sorry?
Yeah, you get to work with him directly. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So it's very inspiring me. This inspires me a lot. Not just for personal projects, but people. I'm working with people that are they are behind some tools that I use in the professional life. So this is very
Mm,
important. This is huge for me. So one of the things is create some examples that will support this documentation that's already in place. But since we have more features, we can create something that's gonna help new people that are joining and seeing this documentation to create more advanced examples and understand the potential of these features that are coming. So This is one of the projects, and that's very nice that we were discussing about, right, Margaret, that you can create a collab and this will automatically generate a page from
Mm-hmm.
Keras IO. And it's nice because the collab is the interface that we are more used to work because of the code and also the text cells. And that's very nice because you can integrate this pretty fast, right?
Mm-hmm. Keras.io has a lot of great tutorials and examples.
Yeah.
Speaking of Keras, you heard that the Keras core was recently announced, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, for me, it's something that I want to test it even more, but it's kind of impressive. And I see some contributors from our community, like some GTEs were part of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I saw
Like
some threads.
Akash.
Yes, I saw some threads that's very interesting, like the power of our community, like we are building
Mm-hmm.
some products together. So this had motivated me even more to take a look. I wanna take a look in this weekend to try
Mm-hmm.
and test it more with some personal products because it's very interesting. So I'm pretty excited for that, even more because I know that some of my colleagues are part of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched the Francois. Well, I read the announcement Akash shared, and then I watched Francois' video recording announcement on Pi Image Search with Aritra and Ridrick, and it's very interesting. So I'd like to try it out too
Oh,
and
I
look at the
saw
examples.
that invite. I do wanted to have watched it because it was from Pi Image Search, right?
Yeah,
Some
it's recorded, so you can still watch it.
oh nice.
Yeah.
I sounds like a plan. So I already have something to do on Saturday.
You talk about the recent project you work on for writing tutorial for Keras.io. And what are some of the projects that you are working on or areas in machine learning that you are interested in?
Yeah, so we know that generative AI is a hot topic. Everyone
Oh
is
yeah.
talking about.
Hmm.
Have you heard about the word of generative AI already, Margaret?
Yes, I have been talking about generative AI for quite a while now. What are you working on in terms of generative AI? Like, why are you interested in it? I mean, not because just because everybody's talking about it, but for you personally, why are you interested in it, and what do you plan on using it for?
Yes, I'm very interested on generative AI topics because I believe it goes beyond the hype. That generative AI can be added in some use cases. In other use cases, we can see that we can use just AI and it's enough. Some classic models, some machine learning, a logistic regression can help on fraud detection more than a generative AI model can do. And sometimes Google Sheets can help or a scientific calculator. So I want to help people to see the use case and understand what tool is the best to be used on that. So I believe that we have a huge work as experts on this subject to help people for the correct use of generative AI. So that's what I want to accomplish. And this goes with the second point that is transformers. So generative AI, the base of these models, the large language models, is transformers. So this architecture from the attention is all you need paper. It is very important for us. They detailed the transformers architecture there, and I try to deep dive into this paper, understand what are each component, and how does it apply to practical use cases. So understanding that, I read this paper like 5 times. I don't know. It's not that easy to understand the first time. I don't know if you had this experience in trying to learn this paper, but I did it and I thought it was difficult for me to understand, even being already a person that was working on this machine learning stuff. So I thought that imagine people that are not in this area, how difficult it's gonna be for them. That's why I started seeing this paper, seeing what I could do to make it more didactic. And I found that if I could create some examples, some practical use cases, trying to get a sentence, convert that into this architectural view, see how does it work into each layer of deep neural network, and then give to people this vision, this approach, so that it's gonna be more easier for them to have this practical visualization on how these transformers or attention work. So this it was something that I did in my last lecture, the Innovators
Mm.
Hive event from Google here in Brazil.
Okay.
I told to people like, you're gonna see Transformers, but you're not gonna see Optimus Prime. You're gonna see different Transformers, a more numeric stuff, but I'm trying to make it something nice for you to like. So
Easier
yeah,
to
that's pretty
understand.
much it.
Hmm. Yeah, okay. Great. So yeah, you talk about generative AI and the transformer, but like say, and it's a great point. You said not all the problems should be or solved with generative AI, right? It could be just you don't have to use that for to solve every
Mhm.
problem. But if you do use generative AI, could you give me some examples of what would you use generative AI for? Um,
Yeah, sure.
like
So
in
we
what
see a lot of.
field? In what field? Because generative AI can be applied to many fields and different applications.
Mhm.
In what field or an example of an application?
Yes, one example that you can use is for customer service. It's one of the most
Mm,
popular examples because you have this interface like a chatbot that will be interacting with the user. And when you say about chatbots, you're gonna have like the natural language processing doing what it the best, like generating content in a very user friendly way. So you can
mm,
have people focused on parts of the process that requires more cognitive load instead of having this first approach with the user or helping them to understand better the problems that the user have without a biased feeling on or doing this stuff when we are not like in the working hours, for example, so that we
mm,
can have like a 24/7 approach, and you can focus on, okay, for these users that are about to churn, that I just received this from the chatbot that is in place, they told me that this customer is going to churn. How do I have a way to not to avoid that, or to have a strategy to help me on that? So you have generative AI helping both from this first contact to the user, and
mm,
also you can use generative AI to help you to create the strategy. Which channel should I go further to have the best approach with this user? And when you're
mm,
gonna choose this channel, you can also create a machine learning model to create the best campaign, to design a A/B test. So for the specific parts, I'm not saying that the generative AI is gonna be your entire A/B testing framework, but this can give you an idea on how to create A/B tests that succeed, or how to create what's the best model to give me the best channel to contact this user. So you
mm,
can use. I see generative AI being used on giving suggestions on some approach to get the most of your strategy. And also, Margaret, when I see generative AI in the development phase of a software or a digital product, I also see when you're creating some stories in backlog, some things about more POs, what they do, you
mm,
can create an epic and you have to break it down into stories. So imagine the effort that you have to do that and could create like 9 stories. And I'm pretty sure that maybe you're gonna forget a scenario that's very important to be covered. And then I believe that generative AI can be used on checking this epic, creating this first level stories, and you're gonna be able to review them, see if it's covering the whole context of the epic, or even asking generative AI, do you believe that this epic is very well written? should I cover some specific scenario that has not been covered? Do you think that
Mm-hmm.
I'm being very focused on or user centric? So it's more like a not a colleague, but unbiased kind of bias because there is a huge bias in AI, but it's a second opinion on what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. So I
So
see generative AI.
help
Mhm.
with the because you mentioned that I asked you what are some of the use cases you see or you're interested in using. So you mentioned about customer service. You mentioned strategy, like marketing strategy, and then you mentioned more of like in software development, help with managing software development in writing the epic and stories, like feature planning, right?
Yes, but there are more. I believe that it can help us in each step that you plan for a digital product or create new
Mm-hmm.
steps for you. For example, you can have generative AI helping you to see a different perspective of your code. When you create a new
Mm-hmm.
code, if there's this code's gonna have some dependency on other code, you can have generative AI to help you create some tests, unit tests,
Mm-hmm.
to have approach for helping the deployment of this apps. And also, and I'm talking just about the text part, but it can
Mm-hmm.
also help in the image side of the thing, like creating new designs for presentations and so on and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. But I believe that's a very important part. I'm just saying about the use cases, and I helped some of them to be real, but
Mm-hmm.
also I'm doing more research on privacy, ethics, and compliance. So all of these models they have been trained on a lot of data,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of issues on models where we talk about information, so on and so forth. Like, is it gonna store data from my client or not? So this is the area that I'm more focused on because it's more
Okay.
technical, and I want that I
Mm-hmm.
can help. I think that I can help a lot on this side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. Like when you say you were interested in, like what exactly you
Hmm.
are working on. Yeah, great, thanks. So you talked about the projects that you've been working on, and open source, and then work projects. And I think you also shared with me you gave talk at the DevFest Boston. And could you tell me what talk you gave and just briefly about the talk you gave at the DevFest Boston earlier this year?
Yeah, the topic was scalable ML solutions at that creates impact. Let me get the title. Yeah, ML system scalability in production using Vertex AI pipelines. So that was the thing that I talked on the FS Boston. It was amazing. It was the first time that I went to US. First
Uh-huh.
time in Boston. I saw a lot of people there very interested on how to scale this ML solutions for big techs.
Mm-hmm.
uh, what was the thing that I tried to give like insight was more related to, okay, you created a very great solution in ML, but how do you scale that? So where
Mm-hmm.
that's where I added Vertex AI because I do believe that Vertex AI, mainly the pipelines part, is very nice for ML ops because you can create different components.
Mm-hmm.
So when I showed an example, I was using XGBoost, a very common algorithm, machine learning algorithm, and I got this XGBoost. I created a component for training this XGBoost, another component for testing, another one for deployment. So I try to show how easy it is to create pipelines
Mm-hmm.
in Vertex AI pipelines, and also to reuse these pipelines because when you think about big techs, you're gonna see a lot of different teams, machine learning teams, that they have to leverage the finds that one team had in their squad. How do I create and I can use something that worked a lot in my squad? So I try to show to the guys how easy it is to one create an scalable ML solution, and two to reuse these components because made this deployment is very easy in GCP. So it was very nice. We had a bunch of questions, but a lot of people interested in try. And when you see about the whole ML life cycle and a lot of areas like data science, machine learning engineering, the one that I prefer the most is the machine learning engineering because
Oh
it
yeah.
merges the
Okay.
cloud and the my previous knowledge in Docker,
Mm-hmm.
in pods, in Terraform, this kind of stuff that I had when I was backend engineer
Mm-hmm.
with my knowledge in data. So I think this is the best word for me.
Yeah, you get to do the engineering part too, right? Aside from the
Yes.
machine learning. Okay, great, great. Um, so aside from speaking, what else do you also like doing?
Yes, so I like drawing, but all my drawings they are not finalized because I don't like to paint them. So all my drawings you're gonna see they are black and white because interesting parts, but I don't paint. I don't know if you like drawing as well, Margaret. I think that you
Hmm.
like.
Yeah, I like both drawing and painting. So what do you like to draw?
Yes, I like to draw portraits. Bodies as well, so but not like you draw because you draw more focused in the fashion style.
Yeah.
i
Mm-hmm.
i try more mangas. I don't know it's manga
Mm-hmm.
in the English.
Anime, yeah.
Anime, yeah, yeah, more
Yeah.
like that.
Like the Japanese anime, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So I try to get this style into my drawings.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got this portrait of a person, but it's not like more like realistic drawing. It was more anime style. And
Mm-hmm.
I do love that. But I stopped it. I started to create some videos. I started to my career, like side career in the video creation. That's
Oh
where
yeah.
I focus on more. And
I
but
would love to
aside
see your drawing. Yeah, I would love to see your drawings. You share some with
I don't
me.
think you're gonna like. I'm gonna be very. I don't know if you're gonna show you because you are like a professional. So
I would love to see your drawings.
I like drawing, but I also like to write. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that nowadays I like more writing than drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that I'm free when I write. So, for example, I have more creativity. So when I started machine learning, I told you that I faced a lot of difficult to find the best content, and more important than that, I found a lot of content, but where should I start? Because we had a lot of information. So that's why I created a guide for people that wants to start this career, and this
Mm-hmm.
guide for data science path. How do you start the data science career? I posted on Medium,
Mm-hmm.
and it has been used for nowadays for a lot of people. So it's currently being used. People should talk to me and say thanks for this contribution because they really like the approach that I use. And even when it's something that I created a long time ago, it's still being helpful for people because there are
Mm-hmm.
some content that I wrote that for me I wouldn't change even with the huge innovations we had during this time. So I like SQL, Python, R that you can learn. So what are the language that I should start? I had some opinions on that. What are
Mm-hmm.
the models that I should use or start with? So this guide was something that I created. Um, Also, I contributed to a Python book. So I'm a bookworm. I don't know if this expression exists, but I do love to create to read since I was a child. Obviously, that now I read Isaac Asimov. When I was a child, I was not reading that. Like um, this kind of books and authors like Carl Sagan, sci-fi. It was not that part of. It was not this kind of book that I was reading, but now I like. I do like, and I created this book together with a lot of people. It was a
Mm-hmm.
collaborative book, and all it was volunteer work as well. And I wrote a chapter related to artificial intelligence, what it is,
Mm-hmm.
even like an introduction about it. But when you write an article, it's something. When you go to a book, it's a different level, you know. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
had this perception. I don't know if it's because I grew up with books together with me. I so when I grew with some books, reading a lot, I was like I felt a huge responsibility with even just writing a single chapter of the whole book. So it was very interesting to write a single chapter. I was reviewing this the whole month, so it was pretty easy for me to write. I
Mm-hmm.
got some reference that were meaningful. So you have the book Artificial Intelligence from Stuart Russell, one
Mm-hmm.
of the best that you have in the field. So I read a huge book to write a single chapter. So it was very nice, a good experience. And this book was gonna help an institute related to cancer. So this motivated me even more, you know.
That's great to hear. Like you get the right part. It's a Python book, but you wrote the AI part, and all the proceeds from the book will go help with the Cancer Institute, right? So
Yes,
help other
yes.
people. And you
Mhm.
mentioned that you seem like I think you also mentioned to me last time I chat with you like you love writing, and then does writing come very easy to you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I do
I,
love writing. Do you think it's the same for you?
no, no, I was very surprised when when I was chatting with you to prep for this the recording when you said you love writing and writing is easy for you. No, for me, writing does not come easy. Uh, Writing is challenging. I've written a lot of tutorials, but it's never easy for me. Yeah, I
Oh.
prefer to draw. I think drawing is very easy
No, I'm the
for me.
opposite, really. No way, really. And I do love writing. I don't know. I feel that I am more creative writing than drawing. I don't know. I feel, Mario, that when you write, it's kind of you let I feel that I let my emotions take place, and
Mhm,
I create something very I just leave there what I'm feeling. So this is more something more therapeutic, that some people also tells us that it's very important to put your emotions on the
mhm.
paper. And
Okay.
I also like to plan my day, so I prefer writing than
Mhm,
typing and putting that in the digital part. So I have my
mhm,
calendar, the Google Calendar, but I also have my planner, the physical planner, that I don't
mhm,
give up on that. So I
mhm.
don't change that. I like this um
The actual writing
routine.
part with a
Yes,
pen on piece of paper, right? Okay.
yes, yes. With like common bands, so that's okay for me. I'm
Mhm,
not that fancy pen person. I just like this one from MIT. So it
mhm,
was very important from my Boston
mhm,
trip. And I also have
mhm,
this Instagram that it's not related to writing itself, but it's related to share another channel to share content to people. And
mhm,
then there I feel that I can achieve a portion of the public that would not go to YouTube maybe, or they're not they want a different type of content. So I see as a huge challenge as a content creator to see the
mhm,
platform and what people are expecting. So Instagram, they prefer some videos that are shorter than
mhm,
YouTube. But me personally speaking, I prefer longer videos. So I prefer YouTube, like 10, 20 minutes video,
mhm,
because I can go deeper. I see people going deeper, explaining the details and this kind of stuff, because I feel a little bit of FOMO. I don't know, fear of missing out on these platforms that are coming. So
mhm,
having a YouTube video is like a refresh. So I feel more
mhm.
comfortable. I can see the things calmer.
Yeah. So do you so you said you post short videos to Instagram about like machine learning, create the machine learning content is in short video format on Instagram, right?
Yes, yes. So you have, I try to get this content in relation to machine learning. So, for example, we have the release of BARD in Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
and BARD has been released to a lot of countries in the past this year.
Yeah.
But we had this important new features release that we had in this just few days ago, and Brazil support for BART support for Brazil, actually it was
Mm-hmm.
it came together with these new features that you guys have already received, so it was
Mm-hmm.
very important for us. And then I created a video on Instagram showing
Okay.
showcase the capabilities of BART, things related to privacy that are very important, and some
Mm-hmm.
standards that Google is following in terms of ethics, privacy, your data usage. So what are some tools that we have in board? So the voice part that you can speak, and some accessibility stuff that I do like and I wanted
Mm-hmm.
people to try. So what are the prompts that you can use to help you in your journey, no matter what is your journey? So
Mm-hmm.
I try to give this content in a different shape that I would give on YouTube, not going some so deep, but I feel that this can achieve some people that may not think that are interested on data, and they can
Mm-hmm.
find themselves into this area, see that they can, oh, I do like that, and I can democratize some content relation to data science for them to be able to see this in a not that technical words, but
Mm-hmm.
explain some technical topics like creating a video related to
Mm-hmm.
transformers,
Yeah.
but explain like for my grandmother what are transformers. So I like to
Mm-hmm.
recreate this meaning in my head. Is not easy because the topic is sometimes difficult, but I think that's an exercise not just for the people that are watching, but for me as well that is creating a content.
Yeah, yeah, that's great to hear. And definitely, it's important to be able to, for us to share our machine learning knowledge to other people uh,
Totally.
in a way that's easy to understand, whether from beginners to experts, right? So, well, thank you so much, Mika, for chatting with me today. And I hope it was great to meet you in Miami in person. I hope to meet you again in person sometime soon.
Yeah, you should come to Brazil. I will be very happy to show you what are the things that you have in here and create some guide. Maybe I can help. I can get help from Bard. Like, what are the places that I should go with Margaret for her to visit in Brazil, right? Take
Yeah,
advantage
that
of
would be
the
a great
tools.
question. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I would love to visit Brazil one day.
Yeah,
So,
we should create an event here and bring you here for us to
yeah.
see your the content that you are creating. That's very interesting as well. But it was amazing to talk to you, Margaret.
Hmm.
So anytime, feel free to contact me. That I really like it or chat, and let's keep contributing because it's from this contribution that we were able to meet.
Hmm.
So very nice.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Bye bye, Mika.
Bye.